Hello, Justin the Ozarks Gardener here with a quick video on pruning your tomatoes. So there's two types of tomatoes in the world. There's determinate and indeterminate. And what that means is a determinate will put on a determined amount of fruit in its life, and an indeterminate, it's hard to say, will keep producing fruit as long as it has space to grow and as long as it stays warm enough for it to grow. So your indeterminate are typically referred to as a vining type, and your determinate are referred to as a bush type. So what I have here is a Roma inside this tomato cage, which is a determinate bush type. And then over here on this trellis I have vining indeterminates. These ones right here are black crim, which is a Russian heirloom variety. And so, as far as pruning goes, you'll hear lots of various opinions on the subject, but pruning a determinate like a Roma, a bush type, is not necessary. You don't need to do it. Just let it grow, let it do its thing, get as big as it wants to get, because it can only put on so many tomatoes, so there's no point in pruning off parts that might produce tomatoes. The theory behind pruning an indeterminate is that you're going to give it, remove things from the bottom that will give the new growth at top energy to keep growing. And so what you can see, what I've done here is all along the bottom of this, maybe the first 8 or 10 inches or so, and I've done this with all my indeterminates, is I'll remove all the leaves and stuff, because once the plant is this large and it's established, it doesn't need those lower leaves to collect the sunlight anymore. The upper ones and the ones that it's going to grow out of the top will do fine for, you know, photosynthesis and all of that. So what you're going to do is take off all these bottom leaves. I can probably take this one off too. I'm going to leave it for the time being. I might take it off eventually. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do what's called pinching suckers. And what that means is out of all these branches here, sometimes you'll have what this part here is called the crotch, which is hilarious, I think. But you'll have this thing coming out, and then out of the crotch you'll have another part of the plant growing out of there. It's not the original growth, but it starts, because tomatoes are a vining type of plant. That's the nature of them. They want to send out as many vines as possible. So let me see if I can find a sucker to pinch for you. I pinched most of them off already, and see, here's a little baby one. See if, I don't know if that's in focus or not, but there's a little guy right there. See? And what he's doing is he wants to try and grow out of here and put on another cluster of flowers like this or this, which will grow into tomatoes. And you might say, oh, that's good, I want as many tomatoes as possible. Well, you can do it that way, and I think there's a lot of people that do. But what that does is it takes energy away from the top growth, so it's not going to grow up the trellis as fast, and it's going to take energy away from the tomatoes that you already have, the groups of flowers that you already have growing. So what you do is you go in the crotch there, you just peel that little guy out. And interestingly enough, oh, here's a big one. Okay, so you can see here's our main leaf branch right here, right? And then growing in the crotch right there, there's a sucker. And this probably down in the heart of it actually has tiny little flower buds, but we're going to get rid of him because he's going to steal energy from all these tomatoes that are growing right here. And with this guy, you can put it in your compost or throw it away, or interestingly enough, because all these little white hairs along the stem here will send out roots. Kitty, George Michael, that's my cat. Because these will send out roots and such, what you can do is, if you want, you can clone your tomato plant and grow more tomatoes from one plant. So what I would do is I would let a sucker grow a little larger than this, maybe like 6 inches or so, then plant it in some soil all the way along the stem, like all the way deep up to the, you know, about your first set of leaves, and it'll send out roots from the stem there, and it'll take root and it'll grow a whole new tomato plant with the same characteristics as the mother plant that you took it from. So that's cloning your tomato plants and pruning your tomato plants. I won't be cloning any of these because I have as many as I can handle right now. I've got 3 Romas, 3 early girls and 3 black crims, which I think between my wife and I should be plenty of tomatoes. Probably more than enough. So that's it on pruning your tomatoes. And this is Justin the Ozarks Gardener signing off.